Hey everybody, let me introduce you to the players on the Cox-Reece Committee, and we will begin with the first chairman, Edward E. Cox. Edward Eugene or Goober Cox was born April 3, 1880, and died on December 24, 1952, and served as a U.S. representative from Georgia for nearly 28 years. A conservative Democrat who supported segregation and opposed FDR's New Deal, Cox became the most senior Democrat on the House Committee on Rules. He was part of a series of conservative Democrats and Republicans who held the chairmanship of the U.S. House Committee on Rules from 1935 until 1961. In 1943, a conflict of interest led to a criminal inquiry of Cox by the U.S. Department of Justice and destroyed the credibility of his investigation of the agency to such a degree that Cox was forced to give up his committee seat. That committee was on a mission to investigate the FCC. In June 1949, during a debate on the Housing Act of 1949, Cox, who was then 69 years old, started a fist fight on the floor of the House with that chamber's dean, Representative Adolph Sabath. In the 82nd Congress, which was his final term, Cox was chairman of the United States House Select Committee to investigate tax-exempt foundations and comparable organizations. The committee's focus was on whether the organizations and persons receiving funding from the foundations included subversives. The committee's report was not issued until after Cox's death. So the Select Committee to investigate tax-exempt foundations and comparable organizations was an investigative committee of the U.S. House of Representatives from 1952 until 1954. The committee was originally created by House Resolution 561 during the 82nd Congress. The committee investigated the use of funds by tax-exempt organizations or nonprofit organizations to see if they were being used to support communism, which is the subversive. The committee was alternately known as the Cox Committee and the Reece Committee, which was named after its two chairmen, which is Edward E. Cox and B. Carroll Reece. All of this sounds so familiar. Nonprofit organizations funneling money to committees who were established by these organizations to adopt curriculums for America's educational system. Curriculums that embraced this one world government, this one world agenda. This new world order would initiate the indoctrination of the U.S. population through the curriculums supported by the bloodline families who created these tax-exempt foundations like the Ford Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation, and the Carnegie Endowment. We could throw a lot of the other bloodline families in there, like the Vanderbilts, but the list would be long. You get the idea. All of this has been going on for a lot longer than I think most Americans know. We're moving on in the next video to the next player, which is B. Carol Reece.